we're talking about this, let's call it a system by which individuals are recruited in through what the left would call mass organizing, right, into then cells of behavior where they are increasingly encouraged to engage in more and more radical behavior, right? And if you look at, and so I should say, I recently published this week at the American Mind a brief look at the history of Antifa. And one of the things that was interesting to me was the role of the early 60s and 70s radicals in formulating what is now modern Antifa. I note ties to, for example, the Weather Underground and what was then called the May 19th Communist Organization. And if you look at their literature, I think it's interesting. They focus very much on the importance of a two-pronged method of encouraging mass organization and that broad spectrum of activity where they are bringing people into environmental causes or animal rights causes or people who are concerned about poverty or any number of legitimate questions, right? But they are slowly marching them forward through a process to where anyone who disagrees with them is, as Gabriel said, a capitalist pig. Mike, in your experience with leftist organizing, how true does that ring to you? And what do you think about the historical connections here between anti-fascist action and the historical sort of communist militant movements?
Well, sure. Based on personal experience as a high school kid, they sort of try to take apart your identity when you get involved in these groups to prevent you from thinking critically. And then they get you to say what you think in a sincere way and then heap abuse on you because it's not part of their line, and they try to strip you apart that way. So with me, they said, why do you want to get involved in this anti-nuclear movement? And I said, well, I'm concerned about a nuclear meltdown and I care about the environment. And they said, stupid kid, we're here to overthrow American capitalism. Like, oh no. Well, that was my last meeting, and I never went back, but I realized how these guys work and found they had just gotten done spending the previous 10 years of their life supporting the enemy during war. They supported Ho Chi Minh and North Vietnam and the whole people who were killing.
We're getting some notes from the audience about feedback. So if both of you gentlemen could mute your mic when you're not talking, that'll help clear up some of that feedback. So I apologize about that to our audience, and we'll try to get that cleaned up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike. Please continue.
Yeah, sure. So it was a question of they had just gotten done supporting the communist enemy in the Vietnam War. My high school teacher got me involved, and of course he had me read the autobiography of Malcolm X and the Communist Manifesto. And I never read Common Sense by Thomas Paine or any of these other things in high school because this is in the 70s. Okay, so imagine how it's gotten now. I was a student then. I would be almost retiring if I was a high school teacher now. So they have a deep ideology to overthrow our country and to overthrow our Constitution, and they'll work with foreign enemies to do it.